What's going on, everybody? Any crypto talk here? Oh, that messed things up a little bit. Let me stretch that back out. There we go. So what's going on, everybody? I'll just give it a minute or two here to get started. As always, links in the description. Like, comment, sub, all that fun stuff. April Fool's Crypto. Are we the fools? Looks like we've got the fucking jester music on, so let's see who's the bigger fool these days. I don't have my chat signed in, so I'm just gonna check on my phone real quick and make sure sound is okay. Alright, sounding all good. And I'll just watch the live chat from here. I gotta sign into chat here. Let me see if this open in web browser. That's not good. I don't want to do that right now. Alright, that's fine. We're not gonna do that right now. We're just gonna get started. I'm not gonna stay on for long. I just wanted to kind of review the market since the last time we looked at it. So yeah, what are we looking at here? Oh, I just popped up on Solana, but we were looking at, this was basically what we were looking at. I didn't pop on to talk about this lower trend line, but this is kind of the channel we were talking about. We want to see it break out of this trend line. You know, there are some sort of areas of note that I have marked. These were marked from way before. So it's just interesting to see the levels play out. This white kind of as a mid-range, whereas this 62 is kind of like the low. And then we had this 73K, 72K as kind of the high there. And we can see that, you know, that the channel that has not broken, purple, it continues on down. You know, I want to keep this, I'm going to try to keep these streams a little more simplified, a little less nerdy. The one thing, you know, I would say is, if we look at this trend line here, right, that was the nearmost trend line of that upward move. You know, and it broke down through that. And that's obviously when we had more downside. Because normally it was just like a one range down, one range down, one range down, but it broke that trend line, so now we had a second range down. You know, will we see more than a second range down? Because this range down, range down. I mean, you could say it was multiple smaller range downs, but really it was if you look at it from a recovery standpoint, like it had a, you know, pump, a swift pump. It really only had two major wave downs, right? From the top to the low, 74% down. I mean, we're not that high of a correction this time, but we did make it to 52%, right? So, I mean, if the percentage shrinks from your low to your high, you know, this was 1800%, whereas this one was a lot less, about half. So realistically, we've already, I think, gone down as far as it needs to go. But that having been said, with the amount of chaos and volatility in the markets, there's a good potential that it could continue going down, right? And that's where we're looking at this more near-term channel. Trend was going down, looked like it was trying to recover. You know, last time we talked was somewhere around here, or no, it was somewhere around here, sorry. And then we had a nice move up to 72, but unfortunately it just got rejected. Now, this was kind of the more near-term trend that I'm talking about, that we have this lower trend line that got rejected on this big candle here on would have been Friday morning for me, my time. Big rejection under the trend line, retest back down, you know, retest again, comes over, really playing around this trend line. Now we see, like, on a 4-hour, it's starting to recover that area, but I would just be weary here because, you know, it's doing a lot of volatility around this. So, you know, play cautious is what I would say. If you want to look at the most, you know, near-term trend here on the 1 hour, this is, you know, an interesting point to risk because you can define your risk quite nicely. You know, like under these lows somewhere, you could even play a tighter stop. You could even play a really tight stop, you know. It just depends on the type of leverage that you're doing, the type of length of trade you're doing. Obviously, you know, you could go under here. It would be more of like a day trade, you know, playing it much tighter on either of these. I would, you know, kind of go in and out. But yeah, like, I mean, you know, you can still play this, especially with the volatility. It helps to have that extra volatility. And yeah, I mean, you know, you could potentially enter this trade right here and just go for like a little swing with a really nice invalidation. Like, you're just above that trend line, which is a very strong trend line. You don't even have to get up to the highs. You know, you can go for, what's that, a $500 price move? So yeah, it's a pretty good option. Oh no, that's $1,500. Sorry, $1,500 price move. Which, you know, we can see here, it could happen quite quickly. These are 15-minute candles. So if the bulls step in here, you could have a nice little play. But at the end of the day, we're just an educational channel. We're not telling you when to invest. Sorry, I had to draw that a little more accurately. But yeah, you can see that's a good option to do something like that. So anyways, let's check out USDT.D. We haven't looked at this one in a while, but you can see we're over that. Oops. Yeah, I got rid of my premium. I didn't actually need it anymore. So we had these lines and things marked out. Just gonna place that a little more accurate there. And we could see, you know, same sort of thing. We hit a trend line and a lot of volatility. Broke above the danger line and it stuck it. It really pushed from 6.5 to 9. So these lines, like, they, you know, they do play out on resistance support type zones. But I would just think of it as more of like volatility zones, right? Like this is a place, if it hits, it's gonna see some volatility. You know, just like down here, it hits there, makes some volatility. So yeah, I mean, this going up is bad for all of crypto, because that means people are moving away from the risky things into the dollars. But that having been said, like, this is a pretty sharp trend that it's been following. So, you know, look for it to correct back out of here. Otherwise, you know, look out for this. Actually be a little closer. We'll just use the lines. So, like, it's still potentially breaking out of the bull flag here. So could see more de-risking And then something else, you know, we love talking about is this sort of pattern, right? Because really what it is it's a low, a lower low, a higher low, right? And that could potentially signal this right here, and then this right here could potentially signal that, you know, you're getting a maybe a higher low right here. And if we see that, I think, you know, some inflection and it's going to continue on up. I don't know if we're going to go as far as 10%, but, you know, like that's kind of based off of this. You know, if we just sort of take that and just project it, that's kind of around where it could go. That would look really bad for crypto. I'm just going to leave that line on there. That's probably worth leaving on there. Like this. And that's bad. Bad. Whereas, you know, if we do see kind of like a rejection here, and then sort of back down, this would be good. I don't know how long this would take. This could happen quickly, right? This could happen quickly, right? We don't know how long it's going to take. But something in the next month is going to make a decision for this. So I'm just going to leave that one there. Actually, no, you know what? I'll take it all off. Take it all off. So yeah, I mean, it could get worse before it gets better. Although, again, if we do break this trend line, I think that's where we're going to be looking for some nice prices. What's difficult about this is that, you know, since October, we've gone from, you know, the lows of around 4%, 4.1%, up to 8-9%. You know, that's a lot of de-risking if we look at it in previous bear territory, right? So like, this is bull market, took a break, bull market, and then we entered the bear. And then we really had some pain in the bear, right? And if it's, you know, we're coming up on these peaks, so it's probably worth putting some signal markers on there, right? Get some signal markers up on this. I think this would be the 2B right here. That'd be like the high before the highest. So this is a very key inflection. And then this would be the 2B. Yeah, because that one's higher, right? So if it goes above that, there's going to be a lot of pain. This looking bullish right now is not good for us, right? And it's doing, you can see it's doing inverse of the other chart. It's all green, all green. It's still a thick green, right? So I think, again, you need to think of it in the perspective of what would make this turn purple? What would make this turn around? Like we see here, you know, in previous uptrends. We need to see some major down move with potentially some corrective, followed by another major down move, even if it doesn't really move anywhere from that area. So we could see this pain for a little bit longer before a decision point is made. But I think soon is what it's looking like. It's either deciding to go up or it's going to decide to go down after a little bit of sideways, or potentially, if anything chaotic happens in the news, it could happen any second. So Yeah, I mean, this is interesting to me though. Seeing this reject to be the high after the peak would be this one. So if it can't break that, that's an interesting point, I think. But this is kind of our danger line, the 22.69 we have put there, as we don't want it to stay above that. It's going to be difficult for markets, right? But this looks like just a giant W, and it's not good, right? It's never good. Big W in the charts is not good at all. Because that looks like it just wants to continue ripping upwards, right? And that would just mean chaos for all markets in general. You know, I know Q's had a good day today. Like, really good move off the lows. It's crazy because I see people drawing these trend lines and it kind of makes me a little bit nauseous because they draw the line through like a bunch of other lines. It's like, I mean, sure, I guess if you... It's just like, which bars are you avoiding, right? Like, why are you avoiding bars? I don't know. So that's kind of the trend line to look for. I mean, there's multiple trend lines. If you go from the peak, that's like the important trend line for the next breakout. Downtrend, and that's why they'll draw it like this, and it's like, oh yeah, it's breaking out. Looks like it's breaking out. Yeah, it looks like it's breaking out if you draw it like fucking totally off. But if you draw it off the peaks, it's kind of like right there. Right? It is getting close to a breakout. Oil, I mean, everyone's keeping their eye on oil because that's a fucking move and a half. 55 to 120. Iran war. I mean, it's attempting to rotate the bull flag. And, you know, realistically, you can be like low, high, higher low, higher high. If we get a higher low, it's going to continue up. If we break the 2B, which would be around here, it'd be an important place to break and keep above this 102. And I think it could easily continue on up if that's the case. Which, you know, again, it's not good overall. Unless you're long oil futures. And it's great. You know, gold and silver still in their corrective patterns. One more I wanted to check out was Solana. Looks worse than BTC, to be honest. It's a little worse, to be honest, but it's all predicated on, you know, BTC and USDT dominance. Just keep an eye on those. I know Ethereum had a pretty good move today, but I think it looks bad as well. It looks more constructive, and you say it's hitting green on a 4-hour. I don't think BTC was green. Oh yeah, it was dancing around the green, right? Not quite. Not quite. I think we're looking at this one. Oh yeah, see, you would have got smashed. Lots of volatility here. So like, even if you are gonna play it, just gotta be wary. Look at that candle down. Binance. 68.5 to 67.6. You're joking, right? That's hilarious. They're just flushing people. Did that happen everywhere? Oh yeah, it happened all over. Even ETH had a little fuckery, tomfuckery. Look at that tomfuckery. 21.59, 21.20. So yeah, ETH actually looks a little bit better, but still nothing good. Just gotta wait this war out, I guess, right? Like, total's gonna look just like BTC. Pretty much. It looks a little better. Wonder if it's total 2 bringing him up. Not quite. Total 3 looks horrible. So it's really just the top 2 boys holding this together. So anyways, guys, we'll check out Winternomics. You know, this chart, this looks crazy. Because this looks constructive, right? Like, it had this big pump to begin with. It did its time in this accumulation pattern. And now we have another big flag that got created. Oh, what happened there? Right, so there's this big flag that got created. Oh, tired as hell, guys. Alright, so we're just trying to correct that flag now. It looks like there's some key places. I have it actually drawn on my other chart for some reason. I don't know why. Like, you can see that's a pretty important zone. Flip. Stay flipped. Because we can see it bounces off here many times in this, you know, attempted uptrend. Then we had this large corrective bull flag pattern where volume dropped off substantially. But then, you know, we have sort of a recovery of the volume attempting its way. I don't know how to make that volume bigger. But you can see these little tiny... Excuse me, guys. Tiny little lines down here. Starting to show back up. So, yeah, I think as we see more volume coming into crypto, whether good or bad, because this thing has been going up since February. Sort of end of February there, right? So right there. 10x move. In a few weeks, 27 days, well, it was less than that. And I was telling you guys about this in the Telegram, so make sure you join the Telegram. 500-600K between there, you would have had a good opportunity to buy. So we'll just go from there. 550K. Easy 5x, right? In 20 days. Anyways, guys, check out Winternomics TV. Go to the website. It'll take you to winternomics.tv. Check out Kazonomics blog. Read the cash blog. You know, go to the coin page. Visit the pump fund. Go to the starter pack. Learn how to trade. You know, trade Winternomics TV on chain. They got everything you need here on the website. The NFTs. These things haven't dropped in value, I bet. Like, they don't. They don't drop in value. Because nobody's selling. Last sold for 5 ETH. Okay? Stuff's not toys. So we can see, just before I leave, we can see, you know, rocket to the fucking moon. To the moon. Artemis. There's another Artemis there. We would have seen multiple of these going insane insanely bullish if there was volume. But this is like the top one is 2 mil volume, 3.9 mil volume. Zen had more volume. Like, what is that? You know, Lowell had more volume. There's no volume on chain right now. This is not showing volume on chain. So either way, guys, keep an eye on Bitcoin, and we'll chat in the next one. Just make sure like you're watching this, because if it breaks back under this, it could potentially go for its next leg down as well. So, stay frosty, and we'll see you in the next one, guys.